What's up, guys? What's up? I see the comments already. You're like, about time. Oh, no video. My goodness, Paul. Give me a moment. I was actually preparing for the show. Hope everybody can see me good. I hope you hear me good. I hope you're doing great on this Friday night. Let me know in the comments if everything is streaming good. Just want to make sure. There we go. I see JD. I see Greg, Paul, Carol. Woohoo! I like how you guys are like right at 9 o'clock. Like, where the fuck is he? Woohoo! I love it. All right, so let's get started. As always, we're going to hit the rules first. Rule number 1. This is for paranormal related questions, your paranormal related questions, and my skeptical opinion, which sometimes means something, sometimes it doesn't mean shit, but we'll see. We'll have a discussion. Rule number 2. I don't know everything, so I might not have an answer for you. It happens. It really does. In fact, sometimes I really don't know anything, but I do know a little bit about stuff, so I might be able to help you out. And then rule number 3 is basically this is for good conversation. This is for everyone to learn something. You guys, me, anyone else that comes along later on and listens to this in podcast form, which, by the way, I am also broadcasting on WLFE-DB Radio Network, which goes out not only to their Facebook page, but from there, it goes out to all the podcast networks. So make sure you get on like Stitcher or iTunes and stuff and do a search for me and then subscribe, because then it looks good for me. Anyway, that's basically the rules. Rule number 3, the end, which I know you all wait for, is this is friendly conversation, so don't be a dick. That's it. Pretty simple. Tonight's theme is techniques for analyzing photos and video. And I put this out earlier, and it was really cool. I got some feedback from you guys. You guys sent me some pictures. I have 5 photographs that were sent in from you guys that we're going to look at tonight. And the idea is, what's up, Kat? Carol? The idea tonight is not just for me to say, no, it's not a ghost. I want to go through them, and I'm going to put them up on the screen so you guys get to see them. And we're going to go through it step by step. And I'm going to show you things that I look for in photographs. So it's not just me telling you. I want you guys to learn. I want you guys to understand what I look for, the details that I might pick out. And I also want to make a distinction between debunking and explaining, because a lot of times I get flack from people that because I'm just a skeptic, in quotes, I'm just a skeptic and I'm out there to just debunk everything. Let me explain this. Hey, Deanne, I think I'm saying that right. Deanne, nice. So debunking is to take away the falseness. It's to take away the falseness of a claim. So if you're presenting a photograph to the public and saying this is a ghost, and somebody like me comes along and says, well, you know what, we were able to duplicate it because of the details in this. We were able to recognize this, and we recreated it, and we were able to duplicate that photo over and over again. That is debunking. That is taking away the falseness of the claim, because the claim was that they had a picture of a ghost, which was false. So you took away that falseness and gave good information. So debunking and explanation is kind of wrapped up. If you're not making a claim, like some of the people that Russ Stiver or Stiver, I don't know if he's watching yet. Hey, Cynthia. Russ sent me a photograph and basically said, let me look it up here and make sure I quote him correctly. He put a comment saying that this was a photograph that they had that he hasn't been able to debunk. He's not saying it's a ghost. He's not saying it's anything else. He didn't give me an explanation. He didn't give me anything. So he's just looking for an explanation. So that's what we're going to try and do. We're going to go through some of these pictures, and I invite your comments. I invite your questions along the way. I'll try and keep up. I know I get behind, and that's kind of awesome. It kind of sucks because I hate getting behind your questions, especially because I know some of the questions you really want answered. But it's kind of cool that there's so much going on, and you guys are really into it. So without further ado, that's a cliche. I'm going to, First of all, I want you guys to sound off. What are you drinking? Where are you from? I have my specialty. I didn't write it on here because I was working. I actually did a lot of research for this episode, which is not something I usually do because I usually rely on my experience. I got to think about what I'm actually writing here. There we go. Now it's good. I actually got a couple pictures from JD, which was great. And one of them is a picture that we're going to get to, but we're probably going to wait until the last because it's one of my favorites. It's a picture with a phantom hand. And that's all I'm going to give you for now. But I've been wanting to dig into that for a while. And when it popped up in my news feed or in the message that he sent me, I was really excited. I was like, cool. What's up, Kate? Melbourne, Australia. Woo, not late enough for alcohol yet. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. So look, Kate, you're on my time right now. So according to my clock, it's 9 p.m. That just gives you permission to drink. So by all means, indulge. Let's see. Cynthia asked me, are you going to put up Carol's pick from Penhurst? That's a good one. No, only because I hadn't thought of it and I don't have it in front of me. I have to find it. So if you have it and you can message it to me and we have time, I'll dig into that because that would be a good one. I know what one you're talking about. That would be a good one. So yeah, if you can find that real quick and send it to me, because I think I have that on my laptop and I don't have that on my desktop here. All right, so let's see what else. I'm going to get through some comments before I start here. Cat Ward says 11 a.m. here in Frankston, Victoria, Australia. I feel it's a civilized hour for a beer. I love how I get people from Australia. That's so cool. I'm totally giving credit to Beth Darlington because she's probably the one that introduced you to me, I hope. But I love Beth. She's awesome. Let's see. Greg O'Brien, thanks for reviewing the video. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I might throw that up later too, if you don't mind. Let's see. Linda is drinking vanilla ice cream rum cream. Oh my goodness. And Paul says, finally. Yes, finally, Paul, I'm here. All righty. Let's see. Oh, JD has some Dogfishhead pumpkin ale. Oh, I hate pumpkin stuff. I do. I really do hate pumpkin stuff. But I like ale. So, And Cynthia is going to send me the picture. That's awesome. Cool. We might be digging into that. Let's see. All right. Kat said it's all Beth's fault. That's right. Where is Beth? She should be here. She's in England now. So it's probably, I think it's like 2 a.m. there. All right. So let's dig into some of these pictures. I have a list here and I'm going to go through them. Let me put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing because I'm getting old. All right. So the first one I want to get to, this is going to be, let's see, I don't actually have this picture set up yet. I have to go in. Cynthia sent me the picture. Why don't we just jump into hers first? How about that? All right. So let me see. Let me share this. Dun, dun. Let me put this over here. Oh, wrong screen. There we go. So now I can share it. Oh, look at that. Let me put it up big. There we go. All right. So let me see. I don't know if this will work. Let me. Okay. So there's the picture. And this was taken at Penhurst. So, and I forget the backstory on this, but I believe this was at one of the conventions that were taking place. And let's see. Let me go. Let me look at some of the details here. Carol, I think Carol took this picture, right? And it was in this room. So one of the Penhurst, for those that don't know, it's an old asylum that closed down many years ago. And it has since been, it was abandoned for quite some time. And I mean, you can see it's not up to code, but it's really tiny. How do I make it bigger? Well, Let me see if I can do this. I can make it a little bit bigger. I don't know if it'll go full screen. So that's about as big as it's going to get right now. That's funny. I could go so many directions with that. Anyway, so we're looking at this picture, and some of the things that I see already is that the flash did not fire. And that's one of the main things that happens here. One of the main issues with a lot of apparition photos. And apparently, like, this is what's thought of as an apparition, or what was thought of as an apparition right here. And not turning the flash on when you're in a dark environment causes the camera to automatically go into a long exposure mode. So it wants to take the picture longer. And we can see some of the effects over here. Like, you might not be able to see that great, but it's kind of shaky here. It's very soft. There's no sharp edges in this this window framing here. And the sharp edges, I mean, it's not very sharp detail. Like, you're looking at me, you see sharp detail. When you look at the screen that's around me, you see sharp detail. It's blurred in this picture. So that's one of the things that I'm seeing, and that's called motion blur. Or actually, there's two things: motion blur and camera shake. This is actually camera shake. And the difference is that both happen with long exposures, but camera shake is when you're holding the camera, and you take a long exposure and you're hand holding it and it moves. The camera's moving. Thus the name camera shake. It's shaking. Yeah, you're not using tripods. Thanks, Loki. But the other one, motion blur, means that something in the scene is moving during your photograph, and because of a long shutter speed, or a long shutter speed, yes, and something's moving in the scene, that becomes blurred, and it's really cool effects. I mean, when you start playing with it, you can get some really cool effects. Usually motion blur, you see those like nighttime cityscapes where all the headlights and taillights are streaking through. That's because it's a long exposure with motion blur. So in this, as Cynthia points out in the chat room, there was no tripod. So we have a little bit of camera shake, which is evident when you see the full picture. It's over here. Can I make it bigger? I might be able to make it bigger. Hold on a second. Let me go full screen. There's no reason for you to see me. Because I'm just in the way. Let me take away the banner. No, we'll keep it there, because now you can see the picture better. So what I'm seeing is, number one, we have the camera shake. This is all blurred. Number two, over here, this is very dark. If the flash went off, you would be able to see this. There would be more detail here, and there's not. So that's a big problem. And all of this, everything is dark. Everything is dark. The light that's coming in the window is the brightest thing in there, and you're getting the shadows actually coming towards the photographer here. And I think somebody already pointed out, these are sneakers. They look like sneakers, and this person is in motion. And this person is actually walking from right to left, and the picture was taken while they were walking, while they were in motion. And what's significant is that this foot right here was planted. That was actually down on the ground, and they started back here with I would think this is the right foot that was back here, and they started taking a walk, and this was planted. That's why that's more solid, because it was there for the longest time during the shutter speed. I forget exactly what the shutter speed was. We did look it up when Cynthia and Carol gave me this image, the original image. So I was able to look up the shutter speed, and it was a long exposure. So we confirmed it. And so why this is transparent right here. Let me see if I can get this a little bit bigger so you can see it better. Nope, it's not gonna do it. Well, let me see. What if I just save this image into this? Oh, that was a sneak peek of everything. Let me see if I can do this. Let me turn this off for a second so you don't get a sneak peek at all of my stuff. Let me see. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Now I should be able to blow it up. There we go. Let me bring this back up. And now I can blow it up. There we go. Look at that shit. Technology. Now we see it much better. We can actually see that they're holding an object, It almost looks like a tablet, almost like a Kinect, one of those, ghost hunting rigged Kinects with a tablet. But you can see there's an arm right there because we see the flesh color. We see the front of the person here. This is probably their hair. The reason they're cut off like this is because they're in motion and there's too much light coming in from the back. And this is hard to explain right now. Well, not right now, but it's very hard to explain. But as this person is in motion, there's a little bit of them here. There's a little bit here, but how do I explain this right? Because they're in motion, the middle part here is actually a combination of the front and back of their head, and the front and back of their body. Because right in the middle, as soon as they entered this space, that's when the picture started being taken. As their body moved through the space, the part behind it was getting filled in by the light, because you can see a lot of the blurring here. You can see some of the darkness back here, and you can see some blurry here. So as they moved into the next few inches, the camera was still taking a picture and then stopped. So this is actually what we're seeing back here. This is just a combination of the front and back of that person. It's really, really cool. And I'm not putting a red circle around it, Paul. Shush. Oh, all right. So basically, that's what this is. This person was in motion. That's why this is transparent. This is the leg that was moving, coming forward to take another step. As they moved through the scene, light filled in the back here from the window and also in the front. That's why it looks skinny. This is something that you guys can try at home. Set it up in front of the window that's coming in. Turn the lights out, but during the day, have the window open. Take a picture of somebody walking through. Turn the flash off of your camera and just take a couple pictures. Have people walking back and forth. If I wasn't prepared for this picture, but I have dozens of other images that I took of literally myself as I walked, and I recreated this exact thing where I look exactly like this person, this very skinny thing. But it's really cool. That was a good photo. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. So I'm going to move on to another one. I hope that was good. If you guys have any follow-up questions, feel free to message me later after the show, and I'll try to explain it a little bit better. And if I can, I'm going to post all these pictures onto my I Am Kenny Biddle blog. And then I'll put like the recreations with them too, so that you guys can see the examples. So let's see. Carol loves this. So Carol too confirms someone was there. Oh, you can definitely tell somebody else was there. Because I want to just show you real quick. This is, let me see, put this up. If you look right over here, this is an elbow. This is somebody that is, they have the camera up, their own camera. I'm getting confused with the, they have their own camera and they're holding it like this. Let me get in there. And you're seeing their elbow kind of sticking into the frame. So there was definitely other people in that room. Plus the fact that this is bringing in a lot of visible light, and you're seeing a shadow being blocked, or a shadow casting on the floor. So it's blocking visible light. So it's a cool photo. It's a very cool photo. And normally seeing something like this, it would be confusing. Like, what the hell? What is this? You know, why is this person transparent? Not only are parts of them transparent, but why is it like so skinny? Like, why is it so freakishly skinny? So unless you start really getting into it, it's very hard to recognize that right away. But I've done so many of them that I knew exactly what it was when I saw it, and just recreating it cinches it. So, all right, cool. Ooh, man, that's good. That's good. I did kind of strong tonight because it's been a long week. All right, so next one up. Let's see. This is going to be a quick one. Actually, you know what? I'm going to skip this one, I think, because it's really... No, you know what? I'm going to put it up there. Let's see. Where am I? Where am I? I'm so confused. I am so confused. I have to find this video that I was sent because JD sent me a video. Oh, did I put it up? Hold on. Let me see. I might have actually saved it. I did not save it because I'm an idiot. That's why. All right. So I got a couple videos actually from JD because he's very, very good with giving me material. All right. So let me see. Let me shut this up when it plays. Shh, quiet. All right. Dun, dun, dun. All right, let me bring that over here so you guys can see it. And here we go. Oh, wait. Let me see. What do we got? What do we got? Paul says, or, quote, your evidence has been biddled with. End quote. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. I love it. Darren says, that's the problem with paranormal investigating. You have people using things that they have no idea how they work. We've discussed that a lot. That's a lot. Bob says, do you know where you are right now? I do know. There is so, like I said, I'm used to actually just going like ad-libbing everything and just going on the fly. And this time I actually did a lot of background research for this show. So, okay. So let's see. This is a photo that was taken from I think it's a UK-based paranormal team that was going in and investigating some allegedly haunted spot. And this is off of video. So this is them on a normal camera, and they were doing a ghost hunt for, I guess, the National Ghost Hunting Day. So they're talking about that for a news crew. And then they displayed this picture that has this blob on it. So of course you can jump in there. If you have any guesses on what it is or any comments, feel free to put it in the comment section, because I'm gonna look here. Let's see what else. I think there was other. Oh wait, so there was this picture, and that was it. The two photos, not too great. I mean, that one and that one. And this is basically what I think happened here, is that it's a bug. That's basically it. The shape of this, actually, when it goes back and forth through, when it goes to this, it still has the same shape, but it's twisted. It actually moved. So usually I see this when there's a bug crawling across the lens of the camera, and it doesn't get illuminated by the IR lights. And this is obviously infrared, because there's a lot of things that tell you it's infrared. One is the horrible color, the lack of color, and the infrared like reversal of black and white. We also see that everything is out of focus. And that's usually the biggest thing with like full spectrum, quote unquote, full spectrum. If you want to know more about that, I did a video on my YouTube channel about full spectrum cameras, which are not full spectrum, but full spectrum cameras are converted visible light cameras. And when you convert them, and if you don't do it right, it's hard to get them in focus, because they are designed to focus on visible light, and the longer wavelengths of infrared screw up the focus. And this is what you get. You get this kind of blurriness. I'm actually like doing hand gestures toward the camera like you guys can see me. Oh, all right. So yeah, this is most likely a bug that got onto the lens in between takes, because you can see like they're doing some kind of video here, and then it switches over into these shots, which are a little bit more to the left view. So I don't know what they were doing. Obviously, I don't think they were paying attention, and that's it. They just, instead of really looking into it, they made the mistake of just thinking, all right, let's get on the news. Or they probably were approached by the news, and the chance to be on TV kind of overshadows any kind of logic or sometimes honesty. And in this case, I think they were going more for the attention. No, Bob, it's not aliens. So that's basically that. That was a quickie. That's not really hard to do. Those kind of things. I see that a lot, where you get these really blurry blobs. And if it's just a still picture, if you only have one picture, which is one data point, that's very, very hard to do. It's very hard to understand sometimes. You have to look really close at some of them. Sometimes you can see legs, sometimes you can see antenna, but sometimes it's just a blob like what we saw in these pictures. Luckily, they had two pictures that we could compare, and we could see that like the shape of the bug actually turned. It maintained the same shape, even though it turned into a different direction. So there you go. Oh, Mike says, is the Skeptical Help Bar an open bar? I could use a whiskey. It is an open bar, as long as you supply the alcohol. Darren reminds us, if you do not have the knowledge to explain it, it automatically is paranormal. Unfortunately, that is the case most times. It's sad, really. It really is, because there's so much knowledge out there to learn. There's so many people out there that you can contact, and you don't have to be an expert. And I think we've seen that dozens of times where some teams, especially when they're just starting out, when they're amateur teams, they get this idea, the big head idea, the big ego, that once they declare themselves ghost hunters or demonologists or something like that, you know, they're automatically an expert in everything. And, you know, that's just total bullshit. It really is. It really is. Mike says ghost farts. Well, I'm not going to argue with that because it's a possibility. Kat Ward says, I was always taught to take 3 or more from the same vantage point. Helps with context. I totally agree. I totally agree. Take 3 or more pictures every time you want to snap that picture, because that gives you an idea. If you catch something in one, chances are you might catch it in the second one, or we can say, okay, if you took like one picture, nothing. Second picture, something. Third, fourth picture, nothing. It probably went by really quick, and most likely bug or something like that. We can go off of details, but yes, absolute good advice. Take 3 or more pictures. All right. So let's see. I'm going to move on. Let's see. What's this? JD says, but Kenny, you can get a degree as a paranormal investigator, so it must be legit. I have. Do I have it here? No, I don't have it here. I have it down. I actually have it at the museum. I have my parapsychology diploma, which I got from an online university, which promised me 150 hours of coursework, and I completed it 5 hours while intoxicated, and I got honors. So what's that tell you about that shit? All right, next picture. Let's see. We get that. Let me cross this off. All right. I want to go with Russ's picture. So I don't know if Russ is in the chat room yet or watching, but I'm going to put his picture up, and we're going to take a look at this. All right, so boom. Let me take this out of the way. So this is Russ's picture that he sent me. Let me see if I can blow that up a little bit. Now, he didn't give me any information except that it was, let me see, where is it from? It's from House of Wills in Cleveland, Ohio. Apparently, like, it's an abandoned funeral home that used to host Black Panther rallies. Oh, interesting. So he didn't really give me anything else. I did ask him a question. I'm waiting for him to get back to me if this was the original, because the way it's cropped, it's I don't know if it's in like a portrait mode. And what I mean by portrait mode is that they turn the camera, like usually you take it this way, landscape mode, and it looks like they turned it in portrait mode, which is, it makes it longer up and down. So you can see that it's longer up and down. So I don't know why they would do this unless it was like a phone, taken with a phone or not. But what I'm guessing is that this is like something they're not sure what it is. That's what I'm guessing. And I was able to look it up. I was able to find this House of Wills and match it up. I found the corner where it is. There's nothing obvious on the walls, at least the pictures that I found. It is abandoned. looks like it changed, but I was able to match up markings here and pole and some of the background stuff. So I was able to find out the exact corner. But then I also enhanced this. So let me see. Do I have it? No, I don't have it. The enhanced one up. Let me put the enhanced one up. Boom, boom. Oh, that's what we're talking about. You're going to sneak peek. So I enhanced it a little bit. And Cat Wards, it wonders if it's a mannequin. I don't think it is, because enhancing, the problem with this is that it's not, again, there's no flash. This was taken in a dark environment, a very dark environment. There was no flash that I can see, except for the ambient light that was probably in the place. This is a window over here, but it's blacked out, so it must be dark. I don't see any shadow being cast by this thing or by these people. One thing I did notice is what the enhancement, I do see motion blur right here. Let me blow this up a little bit more. And it's very pixelated. And all this noise is because of the low light situation. There's just not enough light to get good detail. But we can see, like, there's a spot between his legs. I mean, it's open. This person is actually walking, and I'm seeing motion blur here from an elbow. And it looks to me like this person is a real person that has a hat on, because this looks like a hat. And it looks like this person here has a hat on as well. But this looks like a hat with the brim, and I think we're looking at his back, and the person is looking to the right. So he's looking off here to see what's going on, maybe out this window. Let's see. Paul says he's asking, shutter not open enough to allow everything to focus. So I don't know. The coloring is off on this. So this might actually be, it might actually be from like maybe an infrared camera or a full spectrum camera that was color corrected. Which may, and if you're in a dark like this anyway, you're not going to get good focus. The camera, whatever camera was used, it didn't have good focus. You can see it's actually focused here. It's not focused here. I think this was probably just a random shot in the dark. And actually, what I'm seeing also right now, actually, I'm seeing it, is this spot right here, which is a little bit brighter than the rest. And I don't know if that's actually, I don't know if that's on the wall or if that's a glow from something he's using. But because I can actually see, like, I can pretty much tell where he's looking. I can see that it's a solid figure. There is, he's blocking the light reflected off the wall, and we can see that from here. I mean, I hate going between his legs like this because I feel a little silly, but I mean, you can see that light is still coming through. It's reflected off the back wall here and coming through between his legs. He's a solid person because he is blocking the light. And who said it? Somebody said it, that he is, Bob. Bob mentions, I keep trying to put the cursor over when I'm looking at it. The kid is looking right at the person. So I don't know if the kid is actually just looking that way because he's talking to him, but I agree. It looks like the shorter person is actually looking right at that person down there. That's all the information I have on that. I can't really go into more detail, except that from what I have here, from what I was given, this just looks like a normal person that's down there. Now, I'm going to make an assumption here that this probably has some kind of story of, whoever took the picture was there and the two people on the balcony were there, but there was nobody down here. And again, that's speculation. That's an assumption on my part. That's not the information that Russ gave me. But if that is the case, if that's part of it, then I would have to also disagree, because this is actually centered on that person. The pictures from what I got, if it's not cropped, if this image is the full version, which is what I asked if this was an original uncropped image. Actually, I said uncapped. I spelled it wrong. I should fix that. Let me fix that right now because he saw the message, so I'm hoping maybe he replies. So if it's an uncropped photo, that means whoever took this picture was actually focused on that person down there in the center because he's centered, which pretty much tells me the person was looking right at him and knew he was down there. So, but that's all I can really go with that. I can't go any further. I don't have any other information, and if I do, I will totally pass it along when I post all these pictures. Paul says, wait, that's Old Man Barnes. All right, Scooby-Doo. All right, so let's get to the next picture. These are actually good. I'm enjoying these. Let me cross this off the list here. That's fun. I love these kind of pictures where we can just jump right in. So, okay, this is another one that let me get this up. Hold on a second. Oh, downloading. Come on, you can do it. There we go. All right, so this is another one that JD sent me. This is the one from the Stanley Hotel. And I believe this is from, I think it was like 2016 that this was up. And I think it was a big deal. The guy that took it, what was his name? Hold on a second. I'm going to cheat. I'm not going to let you see any more of my pictures until I put them up because I don't want people cheating. Let's see. I did name these. Oh, Henry Yu, 2016. So let me go back to that. Henry Yu took this picture while he was staying at the Stanley Hotel. Yes, red circle, Paul. I know you're getting crazy with it. JD, everybody loves it. Red circle. I have a t-shirt. I'm going to do a free plug. If you go to my Teespring store under Scientific Skepticism, I actually have a shirt listed there that says if you have to put a circle around it, it's not a ghost. I think I also have one for Bigfoot, and it's got a big red circle around the wording. So check it out. Red circle. I love it. All right. So this came out in 2016. It was a big deal. People thought there was not just one ghost, but two ghosts on this one. And the story was that Henry Yu went there for the week or the weekend, and he waited until everybody was out of the photo. And this is usually the photo that you see. He waited till everyone was out of the photo before he took it. And he was adamant about no one was in the photo. So based on that information, there's a few things that we can look at here. The first thing is there's a couple things that really stand out, but the most important that we really have to go into is that this is not the original photo. That's important. Whenever you're doing this, when someone sends you a photograph to look at, to analyze, always make sure you get the original, uncropped, unedited, unmanipulated image to work with. So important. So important, because this is the image. What you see on the screen right now is what's circulated. This was everywhere. And there's a lot of information right here, but there's a lot more to it that if you didn't dig, you wouldn't figure out. So I'm going to show you the actual full image, which is so much better. So much better. Hold on. Let me get it. Let me get it up here. Let me get it up here. Hold on. All right. So this is the full image. That's right. That's the full image. So I'm sure some of you are going to take it or be able to figure out what's going on here. This was a panoramic image, which means Henry Yao, it's Y-A-U. So I think that's Yao. Henry Yao. He was using an iPhone to take a panoramic image, which means he started at one end. he started probably over here and then slowly turned the camera all the way until it got this view. You guys know how this works. I'm sure many of you have used panoramic captures on your phone. So he was doing this. Second thing to look at is that there are people in there. There's a receptionist and there's a guest right there. So he did not wait for everyone to get out of the picture. He actually had people in the photo. And something to consider is that when you guys do this this kind of photo, when you do a panoramic, you're not looking at the scene. You're looking at your phone because you have the images being scrolled on the. Let me see. Hold on a second. I'm still talking to the camera. The image is being scrolled across the screen as you move the phone. As you take your phone and you're moving across, you're looking at that screen and you're watching as it creates the image. And it also tells you if you're level, if you have to go up or down. It tells you that, and also tells you if you have to move slowly. So when Henry Yao was making this photo, he was not paying attention to the scene. He was paying attention to his phone. And by the time he got to the stairs and took this photo or captured the stairs on the photo, he captured this image, which was most likely a woman coming down the stairs. When he started the photo over here, and as he came over here, this woman was probably coming down these stairs right here and then round up the corner. And he captured her both here and here. Let me go back to the other photo that shows the close-up. That's not it. That's not it. Let me see. Where's the other photo? Damn it. There it is. All right. The circle, the red circle. So what happens here? There's actually two things going on. Not only is it a panoramic photo, which actually takes photos from the side. It writes the image from the side. So it's like a scrolling effect. Not only is it doing that as it goes, that's why you can get pictures of one person in multiple positions. It's really, really cool. Also, what's going on here is that it's a low light situation. It's a very low light situation. You can see the brightness of these lights. There's no light reflection off of here. So there was no flash. He was using ambient light, which is what happens when you use a panoramic. You just can't help it. But what happened was that he caught this woman coming around the stairway. She came down. You can see that this is her. She has the same hair, same dress. Everything's the same. And I actually did. I didn't write a piece, but Ben Radford wrote a piece for Live Science on this, and I gave him some information. He quoted me on there where I actually had a picture where I matched up. I lined up the shoulders, the dress. It's a spaghetti strap dress here, and then the hair, how tall this person was, everything. So it's the same person. It's one person, just like Bob says. Yes, it's one person in multiple positions. There's lots of innuendos. I know. That's what happens when we start talking shop. So this was a combination of a low light situation, long shutter speed, and panoramic. So it's not a ghost. It's actually just a person that was moving while they were panning. And again, when I put these pictures up, I'll put up some examples. I have examples of like I put up my finger at Gettysburg and did this whole thing where I sat there like that and then just went through a panoramic photo, and my finger is like, what? Huge. That's what she said. But stuff like this happens. It really just happens. And when you're not paying attention, it's definitely going to happen. And unfortunately, the media does not care. The news media really doesn't care. It's a sensationalized story, so it gets people to click. And that's why we have those pictures. All right. That was cool. I like that. That was a good one. So what's next? Let me see. Let me look at the comments. Everybody's doing good. They still love the red oval. All right. So that was that one. Oh, so these last two, I have two more photos to go through, and these last two are both ones that I love. I love talking about these. So let me, where's my cursor? There it is. Let me see if I can get this one, and here we go. So this one is pretty famous. It's pretty famous. This is the Freddie Jackson photo. And this is probably the more common image that you'll see. You'll see the group photo here, and then you see the close-up here, who is this guy right there. And this is allegedly the ghost is Freddie Jackson, who apparently died. The story goes that Freddie Jackson died that very day, or just before the picture was taken, or maybe a day or two, depending on what version that you read. He died because he was careless and didn't realize that he was walking around working on one of the airplanes, and he walked into a propeller and was killed instantly. A black circle, that's good. Yes, Cat, the Goddard Squadron. This was you, right? Yeah, you sent me the picture. So thank you. I appreciate it. I've been wanting to dig into this for a while. So let's see. This was posted, or actually this was promoted by Sir Victor Goddard. And it's pretty famous. It's pretty famous, especially because of this. Now there's some things when I'm looking at this, I'm not going to get into the big history with it. There's a bunch of places you can go to online, and I will include the links in the post when I post everything later. But unfortunately, like, this is the picture that you see most of the time, and it's not really the best picture. The best picture is that I could find is this one. So I actually got this from Blake Smith, from his website. He on Skeptic, I think skeptic.com. He did a write-up about this. Really great write-up. So this is a scan of a photograph, and it has much more of the picture. You can see I mean, totally much more of the picture. When you compare this, which you really don't see shit, with this, I mean, you get a better idea of what's going on. You can see that this is actually like a huge building with wooden doors. You can see there's many more people, and it's just cut off over here. There's one person cut off, but there's a lot more people in this photo. And then if we zoom in, we can see, where is he? There he is. It's very light. I did not edit this picture. This is the scan. That's it. But you can see the image here. And one of the things that that stand out to me right away is that, like, I always thought this was probably another image of this guy. Maybe he moved or something like that. But when you look at the close-up, let me see if I can bring the close-up back up. Dun, dun. Let me see. Oh, there's a good close-up that has been edited. So in the close-up, you pretty much see a forehead here. And it doesn't look like he has a cap on. You can see the cap clearly on this guy. It creates a shadow. In long exposures, which I think some of you guys are getting at on this one, long exposures will deepen everything. It brightens the brights and deepens the darks. And we don't see any shadow on this guy's forehead. We actually see what looks like hair over here, and maybe up here, and maybe it just looks like a big forehead. It looks like a full face that's faint. And this is definitely an attribute of long exposure. This is what happens when you have a long exposure and someone comes into the scene and then pops right out. You get this ghostly image of them. But something that really stood out, let's see. Oh, Mike jumps up and says he could have been putting his cap on when the shot was captured, as a question. Yes, it could have been, but the way he's back further, one of the things that really stands out to me, let me get the comment out of the way. When you line up stuff like the mouth, the nose, this guy's back further. It's behind this gentleman. So he's standing behind him. And some of the criticism I've received when I've looked at this is that no, nobody can stand behind him because he's on the top row. Well, he's not. He's actually not, and you can see it in what? Oh, wait. You can see from this photo, this guy is lined up with this guy. They're right shoulder to shoulder, right behind this one. But behind them, this guy's back there. This guy's back here. They're a full row behind him. So basically what I think happened is that this guy was there. He's a real person. But he probably was set up to do the shot. They started the shot. He realized that he was the only one without his hat, without his cap on, and he probably went to go get it or jumped out of the photo and ducked down. That's pretty much it. That's probably the most plausible explanation for this. There's no reason it should be a ghost. I did dig into the history, so I will give you some of the history because it is relevant here. The Freddie Jackson. And this is research done by Blake Smith. So if you go look on his site, I think he did it for skeptic.com. If you look up Blake Smith, Blake, and then Smith, and then the Freddie Jackson photo, you'll come up with his articles. He did find a Freddie Jackson that lived in 1918. This photograph is usually credited with 1919, but it was all the evidence points to 1918 when it was taken. And there was a Freddie Jackson that was in the service. He was a mechanic, which is that's in line with the story that he was a aircraft mechanic. But he died 225 miles away in a hospital. He did not die by walking into a propeller. He was not on this base, not 225 miles away. That's pretty far. So it was not Freddie Jackson that is in this picture. And then it's funny because there is a quote by Sir Victor Goddard, who claims in, I think, a book that Goddard wrote, he claimed, quote, Freddie Jackson had, upon that very spot where the photo was taken, the squadron tarmac 3 days before walked heedlessly into the whirling propeller of an airplane. He had been killed stone dead instantly. So unfortunately, when you do the research, as Blake Smith did, you found out that no, that's not what happened. And this is most likely just somebody that, wanted to be in the picture, but got screwed up. There's a lot of background too. There's a lot of background in this because the armistice was declared, and I think that the base was actually changing hands, because if we look, there's actually different uniforms here. They're not all the same uniform, and you have some ladies mixed in here too. All these uniforms, they're not the same. So there's a lot going on. I'm pretty sure this is just a freak accident from a long exposure. So I hope you liked that, Kat. I hope that was good explanation. I hope you dug that. That was fun. I like doing that. I like that. Whew, that was good. I was going to write it up, but Blake Smith did an excellent job. So there's really no need for me to go into it more. He really did an excellent job. Let's see. All right. So I have one more photo, and this is fun. I will be writing this up because I started really digging into this. And this is a photo that JD sent me. So thank you, JD. I'm very excited about this one. So let me see. Let me get the good image ready to go. Come on. There we go. All right. You ready for this? Oh, so fun. I'm so excited. I love this picture. All right. So this is the picture that we're talking about. And if you haven't seen this before, I'll explain it. Basically, this is allegedly from 1900, which I have really no reason to doubt right now. But it's from 1900, from Belfast, Northern Ireland. I think it's Northern Ireland. And these are linen workers. So these ladies worked at a linen factory making Belfast linen, which apparently, from what I've read, is really, really good. So this picture first appeared on Getty Images in 2005. Let me see. In 2016, it appeared on a website called Belfast Live. And I think it was like April that it was posted. And a month later in May, one of the users pointed out that there was an extra hand in the photo. And the hand is right here. Right there. I'm not putting a circle around it, Paul, so don't ask. I'm going to blow this up so you can see it. There we go. So there is an extra hand right here that does not seem to belong to anyone. And this was a mystery. I've seen this picture before. I've always wanted to delve into it, but I just never have. When I would sit down and be like, all right, let me look at like famous ghost photos. This was on my list, but I always got distracted. So I actually love the looks on some of these ladies' faces. If you see, like most of them are like very, very serious. You got a couple girls smiling. They look like the younger girls. And then you got this one. This is the sassy one right here. She's like, nope, not folding my hands. Take it. So let's see. Oh, Kat Ward says hand or creases in her dress. Let me blow it up a little bit more. So I'm pretty sure, I have no doubt this is a hand. This looks like the thumb with a thumbnail and then 3 fingers coming over. The pinky finger would be probably still behind. You see the wrist going up behind the neck here. I have no doubt because it doesn't match the other side. So there's no reason for this to be ruffles. The woman behind doesn't have long enough sleeves. So it shouldn't be her. And you can see the end of this sleeve for this woman right about here coming down. So there's nothing coming off that should be there. Now, with this, this is one of the things that I stared at the photo for a while. And some of the techniques that I use when I'm looking at photos is like blow it up, change it. I do the whole reverse it into negative, see what's going on, and enhance it, which is really hard to do because like even though I got a pretty decent file size, a large size, you still can't get the biggest size without paying for it. And the large size to pay for this off of Getty Images was $450. I don't have that kind of cash to do, so that's not happening. This is what you get. But I have done enough, and I'm going to totally credit Joe Nickel with this, with his information that I've actually learned a lot from him about older photography. And I've actually dealt with a few things, a few old photography techniques. Oh, Carol says the thumb doesn't look right. I'm guessing it's let me see. It's kind of like, I don't know. You got to put your hand around somebody, around somebody's shoulder. It's the thumb's actually pointing towards you. So that's why it looks kind of short and the other fingers look long. Mike says all hands on deck. That was good. That's good. I like that. That's a dad joke. Very nice. So let me see, where am I? So one of the things that I did notice about this photo is not just because they're all there. They look good, look fine. One of the things that stood out to me is that they are uneven. If you look at this, you have 5 ladies up top. You have 4 ladies in this row. You have 4 in the next row, and then 2 here. Most of these people were centered except for this row. These 4 ladies in kind of the middle here, the middle standing row, semi-standing. Well, I guess they're standing. I think these ladies are standing. These ladies are actually like, they're half sitting. It looks like they're leaning against like a high stool because they're not actually, I mean, their knees aren't totally bent. They got their legs kicked out a little bit. And then I think these ladies are actually up on maybe like a stand or something. But this row doesn't look right to me. Just as a photographer, if I'm lining up people, they should be in some kind of order. You have like this woman between these two, this woman between these two. These ladies are between the row, like in the space in between the people that are in front of them. That's how it should be. The top row is off. They're just off. And this woman on the end here looks like she's out like by herself. I really think that there should be somebody else here. And that made me look closer at this. So when I looked closer, that's when I discovered it. There's a thing called, there's a nickname called like airbrushing. That's a more modern term, but there's what's called crayon portraits. And I've dealt with this before, where it's crayon portraits are something where they would use what's called a solar enlarger. So they would have a photograph that's really small, and they would use this solar enlarger, which was kind of like a Xerox machine. It would use the light from the sun to make a little image and then transfer it onto a larger canvas, where it would have it was treated with chemicals that were light sensitive. It would make a very, very light impression in which an artist would go over with crayons, charcoal, pastels, pencil, something like that. And it was a lifelike kind of portrait. The big thing I noticed here was both this dress from the woman standing behind this woman and this shoulder and arm. Now, let me get up and frame a little bit more. This arm is freakishly small. This hand is tucked in. This is very thin, and it's very straight here. It's also darker. There's more light on when we're looking at it, there's more light that should be on the right side. When you look at the larger picture, these are little details, but I'm getting to the point here. When you're looking at these pictures, there's more light on this side of the ladies. On this side, it's darker here, it's lighter here, it's lighter here, it's darker here, lighter, darker. But on this one, it's darker on the wrong side. It's on the wrong, it's the wrong side. And this is very straight. This is very, very straight. It shouldn't be straight like this and smooth. It should be wrinkled like this, because there are wrinkles. We see wrinkles, but we don't see the edge of the wrinkles, which is a dead giveaway that this was drawn in. The biggest giveaway that this was drawn in is the black line. This is a black line that's drawn on the shoulder and the sleeve. You don't do that in photography. Look at that. Look at over here. There is no black line separating the dress of the girl in the back and the sleeve. There is no black line. There is no black line here. There's no black line. Wait. These two overlapping. There is no black line. It's just a shirt. No black line. Can you make your cursor larger? What? No, I can't. Unfortunately, it's sharing. Oh, maybe I can just do this, and you know what? I'll take out my banner so you can see the whole screen. How about that? Maybe that'll do better. Hopefully, that does it a little bit better. Let me go back to the comments so I can see you guys. Okay. So when I go back to this photo and I look, not only is this arm, it just looks too small. It looks much thinner than what it should be compared to this one. It's a smooth black line shoulder. This arm is darker. This spot, this is an ink blot, which tells me this was retouched. When I look at this dress of this person behind her, let me blow it out a little bit. This dress is actually drawn in. These are pencil marks, not pencil, but I think they're charcoal. I think it's actually charcoal. The whole premise of the the picture was that these women were working in the linen factory. And one of the details of it was that each woman had the tools of her trade on a cord around her waist. So they all had a cord. They all had tools hanging from it. You can see there's tools here. There's a cord coming down. They all have it. Unfortunately, this woman on the end, hers is erased and it's actually drawn in. And there's another detail here with this is that, let me get it as close as possible. There's a bald spot right here on this poor woman's head, but this hair is also drawn in. It's very, very dark. If you compare it to the hair on the other side where it's supposed to be dark, you can see the distortion from the, this is film grain because it's so old and the lighting conditions. You can see the spottiness. This is film grain, but this is solid. This is telling me that it's drawn in. So whatever was here, this was drawn in, this was drawn in, these details were drawn in on this side. I'm pretty sure that somebody else was in this picture. And I see somebody already saying, JD's like begs the question, why? Why was this picture altered? Well, some of the reasons could be that maybe the person got fired and they didn't want to have this picture with this other one in it. I mean, it's not uncommon for these pictures to be redone, retouched, or people taken out like this. Somebody said it, I think, Darren said it, 1900s Photoshop, exactly what it is. People were taken out of pictures sometimes because it's not cropped right. You can see on the side here, this poor woman's arm, she's cropped out. But I did, let me see, what did I do here? I do want to show you, I did an example where I put, I actually put somebody in there. Let me see if it comes up. There it is. So I added somebody. I actually took her, this person, and I added her on the side here just to show what might have happened. And it's most likely that this person was there. They were friends. She put her arm around this person, and the photographer was like, okay, for some reason, we have to take this person out. We have to take this person out. We don't want her in there. Maybe they didn't like the fact that everyone else in the picture was folding their hands. They already had one class clown over here, and they didn't want another one. So they took her out. And they spent so much time on that they forgot that her hand was actually around this woman's shoulder. Mike says she was showing her ankles. That's a serious offense. I mean, well, you can actually see that they're barefoot. They don't have shoes on. None of them that you can see have shoes on. So, yeah, I don't know about that. But I definitely think that this was a product of, no, that's not the one I want. A old school Photoshop. When I look at this, I see a lot of drawn in, and this is something actually that comes with experience. I can't say absolutely, but these little details. This should be a rope that hangs all the way down. It actually should go down behind this woman, but it doesn't. So should this. This is actually erased too much because they try to take somebody out, not only take somebody out, but fill it in so it looked like just a dress. So, and the hair on this side is just, oh, that's so bad. It's a dead giveaway because it's so solid that it's just drawn in. And again, it comes down here. This gives almost a cartoony look. It gives a very flat, drawn look to it. Let me see. JD says, working that close with such detail, and yet you miss that hand. Yeah, I mean, it does happen. It does happen. You know, like it might have been just too much. It might have been on time constraint. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, photography was very different in 1900. Very different. So you could make mistakes, but you can get away with it. I mean, this was taken in 1900. It wasn't posted to the internet until 2005. So 105 years later, it made it without anyone. Let me bring this back. Without anyone noticing it. And even when it was posted, it took 11 years. 11 years before somebody saw it and said, hey, there's an extra hand there. So, yeah, I mean, it's easy to miss stuff, especially if you're working. I do a lot of tedious work that for me, I find like very tedious work that's little progress, but takes a long time. That's like therapy to me. It calms me. It brings me back to my inner calm. But I can see how somebody, after hours and hours of retouching, it's not Photoshop where it's a few clicks. Like I put that person in there. I copied that person and put them in that spot. And it took me all of like 2 minutes. Not even. We're talking 1900 Photoshopping here, which probably took hours and hours. So by the end of that, taking that entire person out, drawing the dress, the rest of the dress over here, so that it went down to almost to the floor here, and making sure, this is another thing, like the way her dress kind of just stops right here and then goes straight down. That's another red flag to me. But that's little details. But I can totally see how they could miss that hand. I don't think it's not a phantom hand. It's a real hand. I think there was really somebody there. I have no doubt that the dress and the part of her shoulder and arm were drawn in. I've seen so many of these old portraits, these crayon portraits, where things were drawn in. Jewelry, accents were drawn in. And I see a lot of mistakes. I've seen necklaces that are missing connections between like a brooch and the actual chain. I've seen eye pupils missing sometimes. I've seen a whole different thing because it's you spent so much time on it. It's very hard to get everything. Because like I can spend an hour on a photograph to retouch it to make it look nice, presentable. I'm not faking photos, but like when I do photography, like portrait photography, touching up things, making people look awesome, that an hour is a lot of time. I can do stuff in 5 minutes and then, pile it on. A couple people, like a family photo, go through maybe an hour. This probably, like I said, it probably took not only several hours, but it probably took a day or two just for that. So, Bob says that photo was very touchy. I feel the love. Kat says Mulmer tried it before too. Epic fail for those of us in the day. Mulmer was, he failed. He failed big time. I mean, he started out good, but then failed. And I believe he was brought up on charges for fraud. He was cleared of them, but ultimately died penniless. So tragic story for him, but that's what happens when you fake shit like that. Let's see what Mike says. Also, if you look at the larger photo, not zoomed in, you can barely see it. Someone might have said, oh, no one is going to notice that. Exactly. So if you look at the larger photo here, just by itself, no, pay no attention to her. But yeah, if you just look at that, you probably wouldn't notice it. You would think it's like ruffles or on the dress, like it was mentioned earlier, or just something else. You're not going to pay attention to it. You're looking at the people in the photo, not paying attention to the creepy fingers that are on her shoulder. All right. So that's all I have. Let me see if I can go. Oh man, I'm screwing up here. Let me get back to my normal self. There I am. Woo! That's good. So that was looking at some photos. I have an example here too. I almost forgot. Wow, I'm looking over at my my folder here, and I want to show you something on going off of this photo that we just talked about. So here we go. So I want you to see this. Boom. So this is a picture of my lovely wife and my buddy Bobby Tingle, whom I love dearly in Louisville. And if you notice, there's an arm. There's an arm dead center. I mean, it's pretty out there. It's pretty obvious. Yeah. I just wanted to put this up here as a modern day example of what could happen when you decided to take somebody out. So if you look at this, if I showed you this real quick, you might look at it and say, oh shit, you know. And again, I only spent like 5 minutes on this. So if I wanted to spend like an hour, it would have been much better. But if you look at this quickly, you're like, all right, wow, holy shit, whose arm is that? What's going on? Bob says it's that arm from Jurassic Park. There you go. But the original picture here, which I'm going to pop up, looks like this. So that's me. And I just took myself out of the photo and went back and forth between that and this. So pretty cool. I mean, it really only took me 5 minutes, like I said, but it wasn't that hard to take me out. And if I spent a little bit more time on it, it would have looked a lot better, much more convincing. I mean, the background was pretty easy to take out because it had a lot of reflection here. So I was able to actually copy and paste, basically copy and paste sections of the window in the back here. Sorry, wrong screen. And then put it over here on top of myself. And I actually just cloned this part of the rail all the way down. So yes, Bob, it was touched up. But I just wanted to show that and show how easy it is. Yes, with modern day, it's much easier, but it can be done with old school stuff. Somebody put down, Mike, wait. Kat says that one used to fascinate me too. Apparently it's been proven as a fraud now. Sorry. Yeah. Let me clarify that. I don't think it's a fraud per se. I basically, the more plausible idea is that either the person was fired, they quit, maybe they just didn't like the way it looked. I don't know. But for some reason, the person had to be taken out of the photo. And it was much easier to draw on top of that person, crop it out a little bit more. Because I really would have, the whole thing that really set me off was that it just was off center. It didn't have the balance that you should have when taking a photo. I mean, the lady should have been moved over. There should have been one more lady there. It just should have been. But, you know, that just led me to other details. Mike says, I've seen some really good analysis stuff on the brown lady. The brown lady of Raymond Hall, that is, I mean, I've done that too. I've actually used that in a lot of my photography lectures. Talking about, let me see if I can bring it up here. Talking about photography, not only photography, but motion blur with that. Because the brown lady of Raymond Hall is an excellent example of what shouldn't happen with the details that were given. Let me see if I can bring it up so we can have it right in front of us as we're talking. Dun, dun, boom, boom. Let me get a good picture of it. Oh, that's the horrible picture. I don't like that picture at all. That's not a good one. Why are there no good pictures? Let me make sure I get this right, because I don't like having little pictures. I like having big pictures. That's a good one. That's a good one. Let me try that one. I thought I had a better picture. Oh, there we go. All right, almost there, people. I know this is like not good podcasting when you can't even open. Come on, get open. Oh my God, this won't let me do it. Why not? All right, I'm going to go with a different picture just so you can see. Oh, Jesus Christ. All these freaking pictures are not doing what I want it to do. Dun, dun. No, not that one. Oh my God. It's like everything that could go wrong is going wrong with my computer right now. I don't know why it's doing this. All right, I'm just going to switch it over and you're going to see the little version. All right. There it is. The brown lady right there. All right. So basically the idea behind this is that from Provan, there was two photographers, Provan and I forget the other guy's name. I don't have the details. I wasn't prepared for this one, but basically there were two photographers there. They were doing a photo shoot for Country Life magazine, and they wanted to get pictures of this mansion, Raymond Hall, which is awesome place, beautiful place. Now, what happened was the details that were given, the story that's given is that I believe Provan, which was one of the guys who has a backstory. He has a very important backstory. If you ever get into this, I suggest you read the backstory of him because he has a lot to do with, he had a wife that was allegedly psychic and then was really into the paranormal. He really wanted to get a picture of a ghost. But he claimed that he saw this figure that you see on the screen here, this, coming down the stairs. It was descending the stairs, and that he called out to the other guy who was underneath the hood of the camera, which I don't know why, because you only do that to focus, and then you come out. There's no need to stay under there. So they removed the cap of the camera because this is not a point and shoot camera. You don't just click, click, click. You actually have to take the cap off, the lens cap off, to expose the plate. Let me get my thoughts. So they exposed the plate for 6 seconds. I think it was about 6 seconds. I think that's the actual quote. They exposed it for about 6 seconds. And that's the main fact here. That's the most important detail that we have to look at, because we're being told that this ghost right here was descending the stairs for 6 seconds. Even if you're going at a slow pace, you wouldn't get this formed image here. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. Oh, nope. That's the wrong screen. This screen is what I want. No, that's not getting any bigger. That's what she said. But for 6 seconds, you should have not a formed figure like this, because you see, like, this is a woman. It obviously looks like a woman in some kind of robes. And then her feet, the bottom of the robes here, the bottom of the dress coming down. You should get an actual streak, a light streak. And because this is transparent already, it would be a very, very, very light streak coming down the full length of the stairs. I do have a photo somewhere. I don't have it readily available, but I've taken photos of me coming down my staircase for 6 seconds and for 5 seconds, and you see like an entire blur coming down. You should not have a perfectly fixed figure like this in there. It's just not possible with the technology at the time, with the photography at the time, with the long exposure at the time. This image is not possible with the details that were given. Injury. That's it. Thank you, Kat. Oh, wait. What am I doing here? I can't even say that. I'm not even going to attempt that. Let's see. Isn't that the cover of Ben Radford's book, Scientific? Yes, it is. Let's see. Oh, wait. We have it. Wait. Nope. Investigating Ghosts. That's the one on Ben Rafford's book. There it is. Let's see. Paul Browning says, psychic? I just knew you were going to say that. Whatever. Bob says, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't it take several minutes to set up a picture with the cameras at the time? Yes, it does. Or it did. And the camera was being set up. They were taking a picture of the staircase. That's what they were setting the shot up for, the staircase. And then even back here, let me see the cursor right here. Back here is a little room that's actually dedicated. It had statues and stuff to the Virgin Mary, because the owner at the time, the lady of the house, and I don't remember her name because, again, I don't have the details in front of me. She was very religious. So this actually falls into the whole idea, because it does look like a statue of the Virgin Mary, which it most likely is. And that's the big thing with it. It's most likely this is it's not a double exposure, but it's most likely this is a separate image that was taken of a statue of the Virgin Mary, with a black velvet background and a white statue. The image of that statue was overexposed, so you got not only bright white details, but it was also out of focus, slightly out of focus, so that you couldn't see details. You didn't get sharp details. You get a blurry image. That plate was developed. And when I say plate, just in case you don't understand, we're not talking about film here. We're talking about glass plates that were used, that were chemically treated with light-sensitive chemicals that were exposed to light, and then that would create your image. You see them like Gettysburg has old-time photography. Some places still use that stuff, which is really cool. I suggest you try it. It's just a pain in the ass because you got to sit for like a minute or two before you get a good picture. So the plate of the exposed statue of the picture of the statue was developed, and it was placed on top of the plate that had the image of the staircase. That way, this is old school photoshopping here. That way you could actually move the picture of the statue wherever you want it on the staircase. You placed it on top, you rephotographed it. That way the staircase actually came through the image of the statue or ghost, and then you get an image like you see on screen. That's the most likely scenario. That's the most likely explanation for this photo, that they faked it. And there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of backstory with this. Provan has a big backstory with this. And there's motive. There's definitely motive for this. Kat says, could that be lens flare from the polished wood staircases? No. Well, I mean, it's always possible, but lens flare is really weird. I mean, you have some lens flare. Again, there is, let's see. There is a better picture somewhere that I know of that just, let me see if I can find it. But there's a better picture that shows you much more of the scene. And when you see it, you see that there is some lens flare, and that's because you know what, this actually might come up a little bit better. I wonder if I can do this one. What happens when I click it? Come on. All right, so let me see if I can share this one. So that's a little bit better, but you can see right. Hopefully, you see the cursor. You can see right here, this curve. That's part of lens flare. That's part of the lens flare, but it's coming from a window that's actually above the staircase here. You can see where it gets brighter at the top of the image here. There's a window up there, and light is coming in. Over here on the side of the staircase, about halfway up the picture, that is also a window. And there's other pictures. If you do a search for Raymond Hall, the interior, you can see the back area here, and you can see that it's a window coming in. So the sun's actually coming through, and you're getting a little bit of lens flare. But this clearly defined shape, especially when you have the split here, that shows a different kind of robe. This is just classic Virgin Mary statue. Very classic Virgin Mary. And it's just, it looks like the statues. I've done similar things. I've duplicated this with a Buddy Christ. Do I have Buddy Christ? No, he's behind the computer. Where I put an image of Buddy Christ on top of the an image of my staircase and done the same thing. So that's the most likely cause. Let me see. Hey, Taryn, nice to see you. Bob mentions it's funny that if you look above her shoulder on the right side of the picture, it looks like a heavenly light shining down on the image. Yes, and that is part of the lens flare coming from above. Oh, this picture, it's a bug on the lens. Oh my God. Justin, hey buddy, how you doing? He says, I would also suggest that another way to fake this practically is to use a glass in front of the camera lens, and using a reflection of something off camera using a mirror. Kenny may be aware of the technique. Yes. Yeah, I get that. It's goes along with the Pepper's Ghost effect. Which is something, if you're not familiar with that, it's what's used at the Haunted Mansion at Disney. It's basically you take I don't have an example here, but I wonder if I can use this. I don't know. You can use glass to actually, like, at a 45-degree angle. If you put a plate of glass between you and what you're viewing, you can actually put stuff above or below. If you light that object that's on that 45-degree angle, it will show up. The reflection of that will show up in the glass, and it will appear as a transparent image in the scene. It's really, really cool. It's a Pepper's Ghost effect. You can look it up. It's really cool history about how that came about. But I think this goes along with the same technique you're talking about. I've done it a bunch of times with just not only shining light on things, but standing next to a camera and shining a light on my face and having my reflected face show up on the camera, but it's transparent. It's really cool. I get that. I don't think that's what happened here because it's just too well defined, and I think that would be too obvious. A lot of this stuff would have to be, that kind of technique would actually have to be done on site, which means they would have had to set up in Raymond Hall and done all that. And there was a good chance they would have been seen. By taking the photo of the staircase, by acting out, if Provan, or even if both Provan and Indri, I think that's his name. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. If they were both in on it, it would have been much easier to take the picture there and then gotten it back to the dark room and then developed everything there. And also at their studio, much easier to set up a small statue with a black background and then take that picture. So I'm kind of thinking that's the way they went. I mean, that's just my opinion. I have no evidence to say that's exactly how they did it. So, but no, I think the Brown Lady of Raymond Hall is one of the biggest hoaxes there is. Whew. That was good. I love it. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Raymond Hall. Let's see. I want to see Buddy Christ, Raymond Hall now. I actually didn't do it at Raymond Hall. I didn't do it at my staircase. Now that I think of it, I put Buddy Christ on the staircase at Whispers Estate. That's the one I have. I wonder if I have that. Do I have that? Let me see. Now I gotta find. I don't know if I can find it right away because it's buried. It's what? No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna have to look for that later. I'll post it with everything else when it comes up. When I post everything on Facebook. Let's see. Let me go through the comments here. Cat Ward says, agreed, Kenny, just looking at possible alternate explanations. Exactly. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. That's why we're doing this whole show tonight, is that we're throwing out ideas. We're trying to learn more and expand what we know and what we can consider. So throw out ideas, because that's a good way. Even if the idea shows to be wrong later, it doesn't matter. It gets people thinking and talking, and you start discussing ideas and sharing it and looking at the details and trying to weed out what doesn't fit and what does fit. So I love this kind of stuff. It's great conversation. Ooh, let's see what else we got. Oh, Taryn, I wish we could. I could share our remake of the milk bath photo. No, no. Mm. That is not. That's a strange photo. Paul says, I see a man's head above the Virgin Mary. It's just a case of pareidolia. You see a man's head? Oh, in the portrait, maybe? There's portraits on the wall. So I don't know if that's what you're looking at. All right. That was good. That was good. We're at what do we have? Wow. We got about 23 minutes left. Justin, this pic is most like an overexposed lens flare, but I like this kind of dialogue also. Okay. We're totally going to disagree on that. But I mean, I get where you're coming from. I definitely think, I mean, I used to think that. I used to think it was lens flare too. But it's just too well defined. And the lens flare, when I come across it, when I play with it, because, we're photographers, we play with that stuff. I usually see like a pinpoint of light, and I get what you're saying. Like it might be, let me bring it up on screen again. Like you could consider down here to be the pinpoint of light, but I've never seen this kind of shape before with lens flare. I have seen it though with statues of the Virgin Mary, and that's what I keep comparing it to. And I keep trying to change screens on a different screen. I keep seeing that. I keep seeing the figure of the Virgin Mary. When I look at statues, I come across statues. I keep trying to find one that looks just like it, but that's going to be almost impossible because we're talking about. I think this was 1927. I think it was when this picture was taken, 1927, 1937, one of those. So I'm not going to find the same one. Plus, it was over in England. It's not here. So I have no idea what statues they had access to. Again, they could have used something there too, because in the back room, like I said, behind the stairs, where you see that glow of light. Let me put it up again. When you see the glow of light here, this is another room back here. That's a window. That room is dedicated to religious mementos. There's statues. The pictures that I've seen have statues back there, pictures, definitely religious stuff that's back there. So who knows if they took a picture of one of those, or they went to maybe a cemetery or just a local religious shop and purchased a statue and used it. I mean, they did good. They sold lots of prints of that picture. They sold it to the magazine. It was well known. I don't have a copy of the magazine, but I have a copy of the covers. Oh, thank you, Mike. September 19th, 1936. Awesome. Kat says, oh my God, Kenny, you haven't even gone into hairs on the camera lens. Camera straps, you need to do a part 2. There is so much. I mean, these shows are great. I love doing these kind of episodes where we actually have photos to get into, because it's not just me saying it's not a ghost. It's we're going through the details. And this is what I do. This is how I go the process of looking at photos. Today, when I got that picture from JD about the hand, the phantom hand, that was a couple hours that I actually sat there and looking at details and saying, oh, you know what? That looks like something I've looked at before. I think this looks like crayon portraits. I have a few crayon portraits that I can compare to. So, okay, this looks cartoony. This doesn't look like what it should be. And it's just going through that process of looking at the little details. And then as you're looking at little details over here, you'll notice details over here that don't fit. And you start looking into them. So I'm hoping that what we've gone over tonight gives you guys maybe something more in your toolbox. A couple more screwdrivers or hammers or wrenches or whatever that help you understand what's going on with photography, with video. We really didn't get into actual video. So oh man, I did get sent a video. Greg sent me a video I'm going to put that up there. I have a couple minutes, right? Yeah, I got plenty of time. Let's see. Bum bum bum. Dun dun. Let me go. Oh wait. What did Justin sent me a picture? Let me see. What is this? Original. I'm not sure what this is. You sent me a pic, but I'm not sure. Let me put it up on screen. Talk to me about it. Justin, can you come on? Do you have a webcam? Can you come on and talk to me about it for a minute? Let me know, and I'll bring you on, and then we can go into it, because I'm seeing like a dark photo and then an enhanced photo, but there's not much to see here. So give me an idea of what I'm looking at. And what, let's see, Greg sent me a video. Greg, where's your message, Greg? There he is. Dun, dun. I'm going to play it, Greg. Uh-oh. This is a good one because I've seen this before. Not only have I seen this before, but I've seen this many times. So let me see. All right. So this is a video that Greg sent me, and we are looking up here at these things. So I'll let that play out for a second or two. This is actually really good. What we're seeing here, we don't really have to enhance it, but what we're seeing is most likely a strand of spider silk. It's part of a spider web that is hanging down in front of the surveillance camera, and it's reflecting the IR light. And why it's moving around is not because it's a creature or anything like that roaming around. It's because it's floating in the wind. Not really the wind, but it's just kind of dangling. Do I have anything that I can compare it to? Let me see. I don't have any string or anything, but it's basically, it's hanging right in front of the lens like this, and it's reflecting the light, but it's gently going in front of it's gently going side to side because of the breeze. And because it's so small, or not because it's so small that it does appear out of focus, but it's really close to the lens, which means it looks like, let me see. Let's see. There it goes. It's so close to the lens that it looks like it's covering a lot of distance, but it's not. It's actually it's probably like an inch or two in front of the lens, and it's reflecting the IR light. That's why it's so bright. If it was further away, you wouldn't see it. It would blend in. The light would have no effect on it, and it would just, you wouldn't see it. So, but that's pretty good. I see that a lot, most often with outdoor cameras. I don't think I've actually seen it with any indoor cameras. It's always outdoor cameras. And that's because spiders are hanging out. They're chilling. Let's see. Let me go through. Oh, Justin, come on. All right, Cole, let me send you a link. Let me see. Invite, copy. I'm going to send you a link so you can come on and we can chat for a minute or two, because that'll be fun. Let me see. Boom. Get that out of here. Get that out of here. And oh, wait. There we go. All right. Sent. I think sent. No. Did I send? There, I sent. So you should be on in a second. Let's see. Bob says, can you explain the ghost picture of the librarians? The guys that took the picture said that cards shot out of the card catalog about the same time. The ghost librarian put her finger up to her mouth to shush them. Oh my God, Bob, you had me going for a second until I realized what you're talking about, jackass. Nice. All right, we got Justin on. Oh, he's all set up. Let me see. He's got his own studio. I love that. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man, I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I know you're about to get out, but there's two things I wanted to throw at you. The photo I sent you was someone holding a cell phone, a very low resolution camera in a very low light situation. What I believe caused that when I enhanced it was their hand stuck close to the flash on the camera. So
Okay.
it's caught. You see the upper right hand corner where it's glaring off their
Right.
hand.
Right.
I think that it possibly because like a strange lens flare from glare, but that's just a complete, maybe.
Okay.
But the old cameras, like I follow a couple YouTubers that use them. I wanted to suggest that a light leak on the box that exposes the 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 thing you were talking about. Sometimes if they're
Bellows.
not sealed,
Right.
light can leak in too, and I wanted to throw that out there as a possibility.
That was something that's in the description, and we're talking
Oh,
about
okay,
the brown lady of Raymond Hall.
that's right.
In the
Okay,
description, the original description from the two photographers, they did say that there was a failed bellows.
okay,
So they did have a hole in it, but apparently it was repaired, and none of the other photos that they had taken had any issues with that light leak.
okay.
So that's one of the things that came up. And again, it's difficult. Like this show is basically focusing on just the images themselves, but there's so much backstory to mostly Provan, who was one of the photographers. If you look into him, there was a lot of motive for him to produce a ghost photo.
I got you.
Whereas the other photographer had no idea, didn't see anything, didn't know anything, had no idea what was going on.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot, like the bellows issue, lens flare. That was all kind of things that I had thought about before, and really went through. But I maybe I'm just biased. Maybe that could be a factor. But I see the statue, and because I was able to recreate it that way, like I lean towards that. But again, I mean, that could be a bias on my part.
Well, I mean, we really don't. We're just speculating using critical thinking. Where the moral of the story is critical thinking should be applied when looking at this instead of going straight to, well, that's a ghost, right? So I know that's the thesis or the premise of your show. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I did not read the description of the video like a retard. Sorry.
That's all right. Hey, no, I mean, the description is actually in the research for that photo.
Okay.
You have to look at the interviews that were done and the descriptions that they put out.
I've seen 100 light leaks on this guy's stuff because he would buy old stock and then he'd buy new stock, but his equipment's old, so he'll get light leaks. He spends 100 hours trying to find or seal the leak, and eventually he gets it. But I love looking, at that old stuff because you can go back through the old photos, the old ghost photos, and debunk them that way. And
and you learn. I mean, you figure out the intricacies and little details that these old cameras put up. I mean, it's unless you start playing like the one with the phantom hand that we talked about tonight. The only reason I really looked at that and recognized it is because I've dealt with a lot of crayon portraits in the past. And the more and more I see them, the more I'm recognizing the style that was used. And that really stood out to me. That's why when I saw this photo, when I blew it up and looked at it, I was like, oh, that shoulder and that arm, that's drawn in. That's not real. That's drawn. So it's cool. I mean, I definitely think that, and I think this is something that you promote, and I certainly promote, is to look at the old stuff. Take a look and familiarize yourself, because there's a lot of clues in the past that can help you for the future. So, that's
my closing statement would be something I hope you would appreciate, but the learning curve for most people that's interested in are there ghosts, can you photograph them, the learning curve is photography, the principles of it, the technicalities of it, just learning it from the inception of it to all the way to what we can do now.
Right.
So if you can try to go through that process, I know it's not for everyone, but if you're really hardcore about trying to understand what you're seeing in the photographs, there you go. So I'm there with you, fighting in your corner, Kenny. Just wanted to jump on and say that.
I love, man. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yep. You have a good night.
You too, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's nice. I like that. That was good. All right. I'm going to wrap it up. We have about 9 minutes left. I'm going to wrap this up. Get it out. Thanks for everyone for joining me. If you're interested, I have t-shirts available. They are at my Teespring store called Scientific Skepticism. Do a search for it. take a look. There's a lot. There's a lot. Actually, you know what? Hell, I can actually show you some of the stuff that I have. Holy crap. Here we go. Boom. Look at this. I have mugs and stickers and t-shirts and sweatshirts and leggings. Holy crap. Tons of stuff. Tote bags. And there's the ghost photos with the red circle that I talked about. That's the shirt right there. That's the 2x2 table that we talk about on the Three Tortured Souls podcast. And then lots of other stuff. So check it out if you want to. All the money that goes into this goes back into my research, helps me attend events, helps me collect more data, helps me buy equipment that ghost hunters use so I can take it apart and show you guys what's inside. So there you go. What else I have? Kat's got a few photos that she wants to share later. Okay. Yeah, send them on over. I will take a look and we will go from there. But that's it, I think. So I'm going to actually stop and talk to you later. All right, guys, take it easy and never stop learning.